Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again. It's Dominic from the MS Guide. And today I've got a really neat guest. We've known one another for quite a while on Twitter, but we've never met. But I did persuade her to come onto the guide, mostly because she makes the most outrageous remarks on Twitter when she's watching Bake Off. Anyway, Jacqui, hello, how are you?
Hi, Tom. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. It's apart from the Twitter, which I will put in the whole thing. Tell us a bit about yourself, just so people watching will know, how old are you, how long you had MS, all that kind of stuff.
Righty-ho. I'm 46 as of last week.
Uh-huh.
Diagnosed in end of 2016. I'd been in hospital about 6 months beforehand. It took that long to sort of get a final diagnosis.
Yeah.
Relapsing, remitting, divorced, and seeing someone, but we don't live locally. So with lockdown, it's been a little tricky. So
yeah, I can imagine. I'm just curious, trying to sort of fit it in, because MS affects so many different people. There's no one type of person that it affects, so it's just trying to get a view on different sorts of people, I suppose, because it's a fairly new channel, and it's just talking to patients and really so other people can see what other people are like.
yeah, brilliant. I wish I'd had something like this when I was diagnosed.
Yeah, I think many of our audience won't understand what Bake Off or Gibbo, the Great British Bake Off is, and why, you know, why people like it, and possibly why it's a source of, the double entendres that you seem to manage to extract from it.
Well, it used to be presented by two people called Mel and Sue, and they would very much emphasize the innuendo used in baking when people would, open the oven and say, "Oh, I'm getting it in now," or "I'm getting it out now," and "Oh, it's too wet," etc., etc. So when they left the show, but I just kept it up on Twitter. So I have a very small but very dedicated group of followers just for that.
Yeah, I think I'm being tired with that brush. It's just, let's see what she says next. The double entendres. The British don't like to talk about sex, but they will talk about, they will tiptoe right up to the line and sort of go,
absolutely.
Wink. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Sorry. And it's all about cakes. And frankly, I know I shouldn't eat too much cake, but I could quite happily eat cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once a week, when Bake Off is on, the cakes will be out. If it's bread week, we'll make bread. If it's patisserie week, we'll get something posh.
So you like to feel that you're taking part from the side.
Absolutely. Yes. Fully committed.
I've developed a new guilty pleasure, something I never ever imagined I'd find funny. My wife kind of twisted my arm and said, "You've got to watch this," and it's what's it called? Gogglebox. It's hilarious.
Oh no!
See, we all have different tastes. I can't. It's kind of like car crash. It's like slowing down for a car crash.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like.
But yeah, it's just like, oh.
And people watching TV.
Who thought there'd be a show about, watching people watching telly?
And it's huge, isn't it?
Apparently so, yeah. And it's one of these things. I mean, when my brother sees this, he's going to tear into me because I'm not sure I've ever shared it with him. That, it's like kind of guilty pleasure kind of stuff.
If it brings you pleasure, there's no guilt.
Well, it is. I do sometimes. I was drinking something the other day. I particularly fond of a small bourbon from time to time, and one of the guys said something, and I nearly spit my drink. I was in hysterics, and my wife just kept looking at me, and I just kept slapping my leg. he was talking about I can't even say it on this, but it was this trap is exit only, I think was his phrase, and so yeah. But anyway, we're not really reviewing telly, are we? It's
no. Although we should. That's a whole different channel.
right, and it's I just I really work really hard not to be too sweary,
Oh, you and me both. You and me both.
Well, it's I allowed one thing to make the edit the other day because it was right at the end of the video, and I thought anybody who's persisted watching 40 minutes of video deserves to see this. And it was yeah, but I was thinking, where did all this stuff find time to get into my head? But and also I think it's taking up space in my head that I can't use for anything else. That's the scary thing. Yeah. So tell me, with MS, you live in the south of England, don't you?
Yes, I'm in sunny Devon.
Sunny Devon, yeah. Okay, so it's what were your first thoughts when they got through that sort of 6 months? We don't know what it is. We're doing this, we're doing that, and then they say, I mean, well, I guess how were you told?
Well, I first went into hospital. I'd been treated by my GP for sciatica. I had a little spot behind my right knee of pins and needles that wouldn't go away. And it kind of gradually increased. And my calf, you know, when you have pins and needles and your leg goes solid?
Yeah.
It felt like that all the time, and sort of knew something wasn't right. Copious amounts of blood tests revealed nothing. I was working in retail at the time, and I got to the point when I was struggling to walk.
I was going to say, were you on your feet a lot?
I was on my feet all day, every day, up and down stairs to stock rooms. So it got to a point when I literally collapsed on the shop floor one day.
That'll get people's attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Livened up a boring Saturday.
There you go. So you taking one for the team there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bank holiday Monday. I don't want to be at work. No, it was bank holiday weekend. It was the Saturday before.
But you can collapse on double time.
Absolutely.
Well timed.
I waited until then.
Right.
So went into hospital and was waiting around for an awful long time. I had an MRI scan, which I've never had before. Asked all sorts of questions. Someone came round to do my reflexes, and my left knee went ping, and my right knee just sat there and went, nope, not moving at all.
I'm not on double time like the left, yeah.
Yeah. So the left leg was going all over the place, and right leg just sat there going, nope, not moving.
Right.
So I had an MRI, and I said they were going to keep me in because there wasn't a neurologist until the next day, bank holiday.
Yeah.
So
any sensible neurologist is playing golf or something, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sunny bank holiday, of course they would. Yeah. I ended up staying in hospital for 5 days. I was given the wonders of the lumbar puncture.
Gotta love that. I've had that. We've covered it a few times. Not the best medical procedure I've ever had done to me, I've got to say, whilst conscious.
Oh, yeah. Right after they gave me my Sunday dinner, it was like, right now, this needle comes out like this.
It's like
really?
a silver lightsaber. It's like, what are you doing with that?
I know. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Honestly, Dom, it was the most horrible thing, isn't it?
Jacqui,
they had that.
I mean, mine. He said I had to sit facing the other way on a chair and pull my underpants down till I had builder's bum, and then round my back out. And he said, you might feel a slight tickling sensation as my right leg went doing. And then I went,
oh my God,
like that. And he went, oh, I've just brushed the nerve bundle at the bottom. And I'm thinking, just brush the bloody nerve bundle. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. It was, you just said going, I wish I hadn't looked at the needle and I want this to be over.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I was on a bed. Yeah. Like you say, pants down, not facing them. But I could see on the shelf behind these little bottles of fluid.
Terrible swallow fluid, isn't it? Yeah.
That's come from my spine. That's hideous. I'm squeamish as anything at the best of times, and that just did me in completely.
Well, you know what else I was thinking? That sodding great needles inside me. Don't flinch.
Yeah.
Nothing good is going to happen if you move. Yeah.
Oh God. I had nightmares about it, I'm sure of it. Yeah. I was also, when I was in there for those initial 5 days, they gave me good old methylpred for 5 days as a infusion.
The steroid, methylprednisolone. Yeah.
Yes, that's the stuff. Makes you
How did you feel after it?
It makes me feel like Superwoman. Makes me feel I can do anything when I'm on them. I will put up with the metallic taste and the horrible come down for about a week afterwards to feel that good for a few days. It's wonderful stuff.
You realize you're sounding like a drug addict.
Yeah, I've only had the methylprednisolone about 3, maybe 4 times, I think, for different relapses. But it's wonderful stuff.
I'm on
So
ocrelizumab, and
going
they
back to your
pump you full of
question.
it. They pump you full of it before every infusion. So about the day
Oh,
after,
wow.
you've got a steroid high going, oh, I feel awesome. And then,
Yeah. Oh, the come down's awful. Really awful, isn't it?
yeah. So you were saying?
Yes, sorry, getting back to your question. So I was discharged from hospital. And they said, nurse said to me, it's very likely to be MS, which they'd said kind of for the last few days beforehand. And I said, so what do I do now? What happens when I go home? And she said, go home and live your life. Really? I can barely walk.
Someone says that to me, and I'm thinking, what, have I got a week or 2? Go home and live your life.
Exactly. I thought,
holiday, skydiving.
How much do I have to cram into how long a time? So I was off work for maybe a couple of months. And during that time, I had my first appointment with my MS nurse, who is wonderful. Love her to pieces. She's fabulous. And the first thing she gave me was a copy of the OMS book. It was like, there you go. Have a read of that.
Hang on.
That's the one.
I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. So yeah, it's sitting beside.
So while you're waiting to decide, you're trying to make a decision on what medication you want to go on, if you want to go on medication, and then you're reading that, which just tells you, oh, if you eat well, you'll be fine. It's a real seesaw. It's like, well, which one? Which one do I go with? It seems odd that I have to make a decision that it involves both. I want to take a medication.
Did you have to make what other medical things in your life have you had to make the decision about? Did you say, actually, I'm looking at a menu of steroids and I'd like the methylprednisolone?
No.
It's weird with MS. You choose. Well, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, exactly. You can have an injection or you can have a tablet. And there's 2 injections you can choose from and 3 tablets. Okay. So, of course, Dr. Google arrives.
Oh, he's always there. Generally, you're going to die soon with Dr. Google.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every single medication is going to your hair's going to fall out. You're going to gain weight. You're lucky to make it to next Thursday. It's just.
Go home and live your life. Honestly, that
all
phrase.
The steroids are still working.
Yeah, before we come down. But I found the MS Trust very quickly, and I found their kind of no nonsense. This is what each drug does. This is what it's for. This is your likely side effects. And they explain things very well, I thought. So
is this their medication chooser tool they have?
Yes, I guess so. It was just sort of the A to Z of medication, really. Yeah. And they do explain things very clearly and in a way that makes sense. I sometimes needed talking down to. Explain to me in words that I can understand what this is going to do for me.
I mean, can you imagine going in and the doctor going, well, you seem to have an ear infection. I'd like you to have a look at these leaflets of the different antibiotics. I broke my femur. No one woke me up from my stone stupor to say, we've got a choice of 2 ways of putting this whacking great chunk of metal into your leg. Which one would you like?
Yeah.
I'm
out really
for count. I'm so stoned on painkillers, because it smarts a lot. And
I remember you saying, yes, we talked about this the other day. That's just incredible.
It's just, I got an instant insight into what it's like to be a heroin addict and why you would take heroin. It's just amazing. Morphine. I wouldn't advocate it for anybody as a sort of long-term career choice, shall we say, but it's pretty awesome, at the time.
I'll work up to the morphine next time I'm on methylprednisolone. I'll go start easy.
I wouldn't recommend it. Being a government-sponsored heroin addict was how I described it.
Good description.
Oh, you get the best
like that.
But yeah, there was no choice. That's what I'm saying. Is MS to me seems to be this really bizarre thing about. Now, what would you like to do, Jacqui?
Yeah. Why do I have to make this decision? Are you looking to, if I chose something that didn't work, would there be less blame attached to you? You've got so little knowledge.
Yeah, it feels a bit CYA. You know what that stands for? It's cover your arse. It's a bit like, here, you choose. Then when it all goes pear-shaped, not me.
Yeah.
The patient insisted on this. What can I say?
Yeah. So it's almost a sort of close your eyes and pick one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I really struggle with this. I mean, there's a range of medications, and I don't care whether cars have got faster and better and lighter and safer, and medications have got. I mean, things advance, But with MS drugs, they've done that, like many drugs. Yet there's this whole different way around them. I mean, my view is if I'm going to have a fight with you, I don't want to start with aggressive tickling and then moving on to really strong hugs. I just want to punch you and leave. And to me, MS is like that. It's like antibiotics. Give me one that works the first time.
Go hard or go home.
Perfect. Yeah. And for MS, for some reason, there's still a whole sort of cohort of people that seem to want to dance around the the fact that you've got this disease that's there for life. And almost guaranteed will disable us at some point, and different amounts for different people in different times, but yet we're going to pussyfoot around it. I don't know, sorry, getting philosophical, but yeah, so yeah.
No, I agree. The first one I went on was El Baggio, the Italian footballer, as I called him.
How often did you get to see your Italian footballer? Is he an every 6 weeks or an every 6 months guy? I can't remember.
Oh, this was a daily basis.
Is it pills?
Pills.
Ah, okay. I thought it was infusions. Yeah. So it's
No. This was a tablet once a day. For the first 3 months, my hair started falling out.
Great. Alopecia. Who doesn't like losing their hair?
My eyebrows fell out and haven't grown back very well. And around my eyebrows, I got these little red spots. It looked like a prickly heat.
Even now, you have them.
I don't have those now, but with the El Baggio that happened, I thought, well, I can cope with that.
Yeah. If it's doing something for me, I'll put up with a certain level of crap. Yeah.
Yeah, but it spread to my upper arms, my torso, my thighs, and I thought, hold on. I stuck with it probably for longer than I should, but I did relapse. So again, 5 days of steroids, but this time I took them at home, the tablets, which are so much worse than the infusion because they taste revolting. You're used to the metallic taste in your mouth, but when you're having 6 of them in the morning, oh no.
Infusion's kind of like business class, and the tablets are a bit like, well, you're on EasyJet now. Go home, take the tablets.
Yeah, basically. Had another MRI with contrast. Look, I have letters here as well.
Do you?
And there were a few new lesions, so we went for the Tecfidera.
Right. Been there, had that. Didn't enjoy it. 7 years I stuck with it.
What? I don't think I did 7 months.
I was on a trial, and again, you're putting up with the crap, just thinking, if this is good for my MS. And bear in mind, you go back, so this was before it was launched, sort of officially, but I've moved back into the NHS because I'm now on ocrelizumab, but I came off the Tecfidera trial ultimately when it finished. But, bright pink from here up, once a day, 11 o'clock, 45 minutes, felt like I had a really bad sunburn.
Wow. I had the flushing on my first day, and that was it.
Oh, lucky you. It's horrendous.
That was it. My hair started falling out again.
Oh, Never. You're just bragging.
And the weight gain, I put on 10 pounds in 6 weeks.
I can do that without drugs, in fairness.
And I still haven't, I'm still struggling to lose it. This was last summer.
Right, okay.
Last summer, I've got my dates mixed up. I had a relapse in 2018, went on to steroids, carried on with Albagio. And then I went on Tecfidera after getting optic neuritis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So essentially they were changing you, should we say, changing up your drugs when you were only in response to you having issues. There wasn't what I would call proactivity, saying let's get in now with X.
No,
but it was that, you know, we're making you move up.
Slowly.
Do any of them have MS that you're aware of, your nurses or neurologists?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah,
I have my current neurologist I've had for about a year, and he's so much more of a people person than my previous neurologist, who was very tick boxy, no empathy, no emotion, really difficult to talk to.
Right.
Really difficult to talk to. My current neurologist is the opposite of that, and I find that really helpful. But I relapsed in February last year, which is what brought me onto the Tecfidera. Weight gain, flushing, no thanks very much.
Yeah. These are powerful drugs, you know, it's, you know, they're all trying to combat a seriously, should we say, tricky disease, you know? So yeah, I mean, you know, again, what's the point of tickling it?
Yeah, but in 6 weeks I've gone up a dress size, and I thought, hang on a minute.
I've gone up a dress size, so I'm struggling to empathize at this point.
So your periods didn't change either.
Well, not that I'd admit. It's yeah. So yeah, I didn't have any issues like that. I mean, I can tell you, I got fat all on my own when I was younger. You know, I worked in East London, and when I discovered the curry houses, that was me gone. I put on 2 stones a year.
Heaven.
Oh, and it's just, you know, they're like tractor beams. They pull you into them and make you eat curry and Indian sweets. Some of the best stuff in the world.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, Indian sweets, definitely.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's just essentially sugar, isn't it? Delivery mechanisms.
Yeah, maybe with some pastry and some nuts, but it's sugar.
Yeah, just different kinds of lard and carbs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, we digress. So you
do.
Would I be right in guessing that you're off the Tecfidera now?
I am off the Tecfidera. I came off in October last year, and I lost 5 pounds in 2-3 weeks.
That's good.
There's still some Tecfidera weight that's still left to shift, but that's kind of neither here nor there now. I had a scan in January. I have the letter here, actually, that I received afterwards. No, that's the wrong one. I keep everything. And
I've given up. I don't know if it's because I'm poor at filing or I've had it for so long. It's like, yeah, okay, not gonna die. Tick, you know, in the bin.
Yeah. So I have my scan, and the current scan does not raise any specific concerns and does suggest that there is no disease activity.
I love this language, is because it's very carefully does suggest, you know, it's
this is
I did a video about letters from the hospital, particularly one about my MRI, because it's just so, it's not worded for patients.
No, absolutely not.
Don't send it to me if you're not going to word it for me. You know, well, it's just, you know, it's it said no evidence of clinical activity, and I just went, what?
Well, what does that mean?
Does it mean I don't have MS, or does it? Turns out it just meant that there was no development of stuff. But it, you know, it's the lingo used. I get that. So yeah.
No abnormal T2 white matter high signal abnormality seen.
Yeah. Were you looking for it? You know?
Yeah. T2, is that the one with Arnie in it? You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did you skip past the T1s, or is T3 next week? You know, it's just,
absolutely.
I find that's what Google's actually good for if you want to understand things, because you can go to, you know, Wikipedia is good for some things, some of the scientific things. It's not good for the politicians who all change their web pages to go, I can jump buildings in a single bound with my underpants over my short, trousers. But it is good for some scientific things. If you just want to know a molecule, or I mean, that's where I went to find out how MRI machines actually did their magic. Because it sounds like there's just two monkeys with a bottle of scotch, hammers, and metal sheets inside. And they're progressively partying.
But every time I have an MRI, I fall asleep in it.
Oh yeah, they pull me out and they wiggle my toe, and I'm like,
drift off amongst all that noise.
Oh, earplugs. Well, I try to meditate, so I stay still. So I try to concentrate on my breathing or something, because you think nothing's going to wind them up more. If you do this when you sleep.
That little spasm.
Stay still.
Yeah. I have no problem with that at all. So yes, this was the letter about my most recent scan, but it does suggest there is no disease activity. This, therefore, is reassuring and does allow us to continue on a course of watching and waiting.
Oh, great. There's just a small fire in the house, but we'll just watch that fire in the kitchen and see if it turns into a full house fire. Yeah. Then we might think they'll call this is just drives me insane, just a general sense, Jacqui. It's this whole watching and waiting. It's burning. It's there. We know it doesn't go away.
We did touch on the possibility of Ocrevus if further relapses should occur, or if there are any changes on subsequent scans. So it's going to be when I start feeling worse, if I have another relapse, then the Ocrevus comes into play. I must admit, I had my this was a letter I got last week, which was when I went to see my neuro to talk about this scan. And I was expecting / hoping to be put on Ocrevus. I must admit. A lot of people.
They're a funny bunch sometimes.
Sorry?
They're a funny bunch sometimes.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who were on it and have had no side effects. Yeah?
No.
Any side effects for you?
The most minor, barely noticeable. I take one, it's called terfinidine. It's actually for skin reactions and hay fever, but I occasionally get itching, occasionally behind my leg. This is the kind of thing that if I didn't take the pills, it wouldn't kill me. It would just bug me.
So like an antihistamine kind of thing.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, there's that. But overall, nope. I mean, it's great. I've had 4 DMTs. I'm moving my hand around because I've obviously got a background up and I can't see. But it's I've had 4 DMTs, and it's easily my most favorite, shall we say.
Right.
Also, it is without doubt one of the most effective. I mean, the other ones, there's up there. There's cladribine, there's alemtuzumab, which I know a lot of people have had, but much to the annoyance of some really leading UK doctors, has been reclassified in some things. I'm not sure of the technical aspects by one of the medicine control people, but sort of essentially putting it more out of reach. There's a new one coming out called ofatumumab, which is Kesimpta, made by a company called Novartis, and that is of the ilk. Again, I ain't no doctor, so it's I just read that it's of the ilk of ocrelizumab. I can't.
Yeah, I have read about that one.
Yeah, it's just been approved in Ireland. I was speaking to somebody in Ireland who is likely that's one of their options. So you've got cladribine, ocrelizumab, ofatumumab, alemtuzumab. You're getting a clue here with the mAbs, monoclonal antibodies. But alemtuzumab is all mouse. Is derived from, and I gather ocrelizumab is half mouse, and I gather ofatumumab is no mouse. If I start squeaking and doing this in the middle, or just half. And I mean, all these things, drugs. It's like digitalis from foxgloves. People get all sort of things, but it's and I worked in the bush in Australia long ago when I was doing my traveling, bit when I was 18, 19. There was most things there that could move, could kill you. So it's you know, I mean, spiders, snakes and stuff.
Spiders as big as your head. Yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, I was bitten by a wolf spider, but a baby one. But I was so ill as he was driving me to the clinic in the middle of nowhere. I've got my head out of the Land Cruiser being quite ill. And then in typical Australian fashion, we get to the clinic in this small town that we're based in. You know, it's all gravel roads. And the doctor goes, yeah, what happened? And Murray, the guy I'm working with, said he was bitten by this, because obviously being Aussie, he's just gone, poof, and killed it. And the bloke goes, it's only a baby. We're not going to use any anti-venom on you. You would have died by now if there was going to be a problem. And I just went, so what do I do? And he went, oh, you'll have headaches. He said, lie down for a day. And that was a very Australian way of, you've just been bitten by a poisonous spider, but not died.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was like somebody rammed
that's not right.
my inner leg. It had fallen, and we were driving through some sort of undergrowth in the Land Cruiser, and a branch had snapped into falling into my lap, and I didn't realize, and then it suddenly decided, oh, supper.
Ooh.
Avoided any boy bits.
Whoa, you were lucky.
It got close, but yeah, and as everything, count your blessings. You're not dead, and it didn't get you on any of your what's the modern word? Junk.
Junk.
Yeah.
That's what the kids say, I believe.
Exactly. I'm not down with the kids. So okay, so you're kind of in this.
So that's where we are. I am on no DMTs.
Right. Okay.
I am taking 400 milligrams of pregabalin a day.
What is it? I know the name. I've never had it. What's it?
It's an anti-inflammatory.
Right. Okay. And is that for spasticity in the muscles, or?
Yeah, and for my pins and needles, because my right foot I can barely feel. There's barely any feeling there, and I get a lot of pins and needles in my legs, especially my right one.
It's your party trick. You can stab your foot without flinching.
Yeah. Yeah. Right one, yes. Left one, no.
Hey, don't get tired of making a mistake.
So where we are at the moment is, yes,
Right,
relapsing,
okay.
remitting, but no DMT.
Right, okay.
We will talk about it in the future.
So you've had MS for what, 4 years now, 6 years now?
Getting on for it'll be 5 years this year, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if I did the right thing. I just suppressed it in my head and just got on with life, and just, you know, you could read all these bad things, and I always think, you know, but you can just dwell on them. And what my view is, you can wait for stuff to happen, and you can go out and do things, you know, because if you wait for stuff to happen, something will happen eventually, I'm sure. But all that time wasted waiting.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you look at how it is to have MS now and going forward, what concerns you the most?
What concerns me the most is probably if I went on something like Ocrevus and that didn't work, and we have to. But that depends how much my MS progresses, I guess, doesn't it? What worries me most?
Okay, but put it this way. I suppose concerns for the future. You know, I mean, we're all. I mean, do you ever? I'm not saying indulge in it, but you know, do you ever sort of sit down and think, you know, what if? You know, what could happen? I'm not trying.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When I was diagnosed, I was in the very early stages of a relationship that ended after my first relapse. Couldn't handle it. And compromise wasn't in his dictionary, shall we say.
At least look at it like this. At least you found out early.
Absolutely. Yeah. What if? Yes, I think of that a lot, because I've had to reduce my hours in work just because the fatigue is too much. I tried modafinil and didn't work for me. I felt like I was high all the time. Really?
That's the weird. I've never felt high from modafinil.
And I just took one. I took one.
100 or 200?
100. Tiny dose.
Every morning with breakfast. That's it. You know, and I don't need any more during the day or anything, but it just makes me feel more normal, I suppose, for the day.
It made me feel like I was flying. Honestly, I felt
And you
high as a kite, and
asked
it
for
was.
more? I would have been all over that. You know, sadly,
I should have done, shouldn't I?
yeah, it never made me feel high. But when I was prescribed it, it was one of those, I'm not kidding, you know, without over life-changing moments. I was really
Yeah,
struggling doing a master's, you know, later in life. It was not that long ago. And
yeah.
you know, when you kind of say something as an aside to a doctor, you're talking about other stuff, and
Mm,
then he just wrote this out and said, "Oh, try this; it might help you." And it was a, excuse my language, it was a holy shit moment, because all of a
wow.
sudden I could read 3 different papers, I could contextualize them, absorb their arguments for my own, you know, and then
Mm,
write. And I mean, I was just losing the plot. I was sort of reading things and not understanding them because I knew I could say the words, but,
mhm.
and that's what I felt like. And then it was just like, ding, I'm never stopping this.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get on with it at all. At all.
Have you tried anything else?
I haven't. Maybe I should.
Well, okay.
Maybe I should. I do struggle with fatigue a lot.
There's a real
Um,
puritanical thing in the UK, I think, sometimes, where they think that they're giving you something to make you high, and that's, you know, it's almost you know, this kind of opprobrium, you know, we can't be getting our patients high, and you're thinking,
mm,
I don't want to be high. For me, it just moves me back into a more normal zone.
yeah.
And if you can find something that affects you in that kind of way, where you can just get a couple more hours out of the day where you're
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah. Pregabalin is a controlled drug now, and
But you don't get high from
I,
that.
yeah, they use it. A lot of patients in prison have it, apparently. And I've gone up and down in dosage depending on how bad I'm feeling.
Mm.
And I always thought that was going to be an aside to any DMT I had. I've never stopped taking pregabalin. That's the only thing I've stayed on.
Right.
Just the levels, the dosage has gone up and down. Going forward, I think I would like to go onto Ocrevus. That's where my mindset was when I went to see my neuro.
See,
But
why would, I don't get why they wouldn't, if a patient turns up and they've educated themselves about it and they know about it and they've got the disease for the rest of their life,
mm,
you know, it's like they're kind of holding back sweets or
mm,
something, you know, when I don't get it, unless there was a good medical reason why it would hurt you in some way.
yeah.
And that's why I want the doctor to say, no, 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 that's not a good idea, mate.
Mm. I did ask if, you know, because obviously I've had dreadful side effects with Tecfidera and with my Italian footballer, unfortunately. And I said, that's not why you're holding back now, is it? You're worried that I'm going to have side effects. I will try this. And he said, there's no progression. He showed me the 2
Yeah.
MRI scans, and, you know.
I suppose it's that concept that it goes away, which, you know, there's an awful lot of research now that's done, and there's many neurologists that subscribe to the idea that it's a smoldering disease. So the fact that you are not necessarily picking it up, so you have to look at the quality of the scanner, you know, how good is it? Is it a 1970s Austin Princess, or is it the latest 2021, you know, Ferrari?
Yeah.
Because they, you know, they're going to show them different levels of things, you know, which software are they running on it, you know, I mean, all these things. So, you know, there's a sort of strength of the scanner, the software, then what's the experience of the neuroradiologists interpreting it, you know, because MS is one thing, Parkinson's is another, Alzheimer's is another, and the smaller hospitals don't always have somebody, you know, the larger hospitals tend to have people that have sort of their interests have gone down particular niches.
My neuro doesn't just focus on MS, he also does, you know, other.
Right, yeah.
I think there's Parkinson's. I think he has his kind of finger in many pies, as it were, in that respect.
I'll bet you there's one particular area that you said interests him more than others. I mean, that's the thing.
I'm sure. Yeah, my
MS,
previous
happy
neuro,
days.
I saw my previous neuro at the MS centre, every time. This guy is at the hospital, so
I mean, it's such a tricky balance, and
yeah.
oh God, it's, again, like lumbar punctures, you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, but in many ways, you think, I wish anybody who gave a lumbar puncture also had at least one once in their life.
Yeah.
It's
Boot on the other foot kind of time.
I mean, there's one American neurologist who took some of the drugs, and he's taken several of the drugs at least once, just to see.
Who's that?
His name's Brandon Bieber.
I follow him on Twitter. I have he had a book out recently.
Resilience in the Face of MS.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah. So it's I mean, it's good. I mean, resilience is just one of those things where I'm not sure. I mean, I know in my mind you're resilient. I know other people that are resilient. I know some people that are sort of slightly less. You can't. I don't think you know how you're going to be. But I think some people are quite freaked out, and their natural reaction is to sort of retreat from everything and not do anything. Whereas I'm a bit sort of charged into it.
I wonder if I should have been not more demanding maybe, but more insistent.
I don't know. You know what? I find language.
I wonder where that would have got me.
I've learned to use language in a way. For example, please, can you help me understand why you are choosing not to do this? And then you pause, let them finish, and go, I've got a dreadful memory. Would you mind jotting that in the notes?
I make notes of everything.
Accountable. Don't have a conversation and not be accountable. Write down in the notes why you are saying to me that I may not have a highly efficacious MS drug, because that's what they're doing essentially. And you can go with a smile.
Since diagnosis, I've kept a diary. It's not every day, but it near as damn it is. So I have loads of them in a big pile stashed away. And
that would depress me. Do you ever look at them?
No, very rarely. I look at them. If I have a relapse, I go back and just see if there's anything that I think could have triggered it.
But there's therapeutic at the time to write it down, I guess.
Very, very, yes. Yeah. And at the moment I'm doing it as well. And I go in to see my neurologist, or my nurse went, oh, Jacqui's got a notebook out. Yeah, she never goes anywhere without it.
I love that idea. I mean, I just want people to account for their decisions, because I think it's so serious to have MS.
Yeah.
And I think
maybe I should have been a little bit more insistent as to why you're not putting me on this now.
I'm not telling you off, Jacqui. I'm just sort of thinking out loud. It's it's so difficult, and as friendly as they try to be, I think it's quite intimidating. I mean, I've worked with the medical profession and doctors, in a commercial sense. And I find them less. I remember my whole view changing. I more human, less different. But I think the default position is kind of scary. I mean, if you think about it, they're just people that have gone to school for a lot longer than me and study things in great detail. And I have no doubt that when you get to be a consultant, you're blinking clever. But there's never any lessons on this is what it's like to have it. There's half of you that wants to, I don't know, tie one arm behind their back sort of thing, or just cover up one of their eyes, and they go, but I can't drive to work. Yeah, now you get it. It's there and it sucks all the time.
Yeah.
So and that's just a manifestation. And say to them, just pretend you've got it, but occasionally I'm just going to march into your clinic and blindfold you, just randomly. And I won't tell you when it's coming off. I'll know, but you'll have no idea. Or I will just.
You're not able to get out of that chair for quite some time.
Yeah, you can't get out of that chair. And by the way, I'm just going to run a gentle Bunsen burner under this hand to give you a slight burning sensation, and I'll decide when it comes off. But in the meantime, crack on. You look fine.
But you've got all these ants crawling up your leg with this very strange tickling sensation that does not go away.
Just do your job. Yeah. And see your patients, and I mean, you look fine. Because you look fine to me now, and I imagine I look fine to you.
Absolutely.
The fact that my
Yeah.
blinking eyes are driving me mad and not meeting in the same spot half the time. And right now, for yesterday and today, I wouldn't really want to get in a car, but I know it comes and goes. But I don't know if
Yeah.
it's going to go this afternoon or in 3 weeks' time.
You do think, is this, sometimes during a bad spell, I do think, is this going to be my last good day?
Exactly my
Yeah.
phrase, was that my
Yeah.
last good day?
Yeah. Absolutely. And that frightens me. That worries me. I do think, if this is going to be my last good day,
Well,
what
it's
happens
relapses.
next?
You don't know how long they're going to last. So when you're in it, and then I find when it's gone, I kind of forget quite quickly about how rotten it was. But you have to kind of remind yourself that actually it was a bit shit for several weeks, or what.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My last one really knocked me for six. I was off work for a month. The day I was due to go back was the day the first lockdown started. So
Someone's
so I
looking
was
after you.
working from home. I've been working from home on off, on off, on off.
Hmm.
I've only just gone back.
Yeah, yeah. What was your first day back? Because I know you went back to work yesterday. What was it like?
Yeah,
Was it
it was
awful?
okay. It was okay. There was lots of people, I got so many very good friends at work.
Yeah.
And it was lovely to see them, and lovely to see some of my regular customers as well, saying, "Oh, did you think you'd be coming back?" So yeah, lovely to see them.
Were you all in masks, obviously?
Yes.
You've got the best ever mask, the one that just says it goes over your nose.
Yeah.
Uh,
Many a bus driver has laughed at that and said, "Oh, we all need to be wearing those." It's fantastic. Found it on Etsy and just wear it whenever I'm out.
yeah. Times have changed because one of my Christmas presents, my stocking stuffers, was a set of 3 masks from the New Scientist.
Yeah. Well, my mum made some masks. We went to Exmouth Market, jumped on a bus, went to Exmouth Market, picked up a load of material and made some masks. And we saw some Christmas material and went, "Oh, we won't be wearing them then, so we won't bother buying any." 6 months later, back we go.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of people, I guess, I don't actually know any of them, but I've come to the conclusion that some people aren't that swift, in the sense that, essentially this whole virus spreads by human behavior, how we behave. You need proximity and you need duration. It ain't rocket science. It ain't, new scientists, and yet the amount of people that seem to struggle with that concept.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Have you had your first vaccine?
I have. I had it almost a month ago.
Bingo. Oh yeah, I've had one. I can't wait for number 2.
Good old AZ.
Yep. Oh yeah. AstraZeneca, Oxford AstraZeneca. So I like to keep it local because I live in.
Well, yes.
As my brother said, "Oh, you got the homebrew."
Yeah. I felt like shit for 24 hours afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, my neighbor had it. He's super fit. I mean, he cycles up the steepest hills, sort of. Oh, I took 3 minutes off my time. And it's like, oh, okay. And we used to be in a cycling club together before I couldn't cycle, but he was floored for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But then I just felt a little bit possibly ropey for a couple of days. I gobbed a ton of paracetamol. I took 2 before, 2 after, and then the next day sort of wake up and you have them for breakfast, because I think I'm not going to let.
I was taking them every 4 hours religiously. I started feeling ropey in the evening of the day I had it. Started getting really hot. I had a dreadful fever. Just felt like I had flu for 24 hours. Got out of bed, went back to bed. And the day after that, I woke up and it was like nothing had happened. Just had a sore arm for a bit.
I think I mentioned, I've been intubated several times in my life for operations. I would not want to be intubated for a while. I will take feeling grotty for a couple of days as opposed to being kept sedated enough that I don't gag out the intubated, the tube rather. I mean, it just sounds so horrendous. And a doctor in Oxford, in fact, wrote an article, and she made the point, I never thought about it. The last thing, these people who die from it, the last several weeks of their life, their human contact has amounted to seeing a set of eyeballs behind masks screens, gear, people who can't touch you, and that's the way everything. And I'm thinking, I will put up with quite a rough vaccine to not have that happen.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. No question.
Mark me down as front of the queue,
No question. Absolutely.
And yeah, but
so my next one, I think, is due the end of May.
Yeah. It's so I don't know. I'm just waiting. I know it's the one thing our government's got right. It must be an accident, but I'm not going to argue. And I'm just waiting.
I think it's more down to the NHS than Johnson is.
Well, that's what I mean. But yeah, they're trying to take the credit, and hopefully nobody remembers 125,000 excess deaths. It's just drift over that and talk about
the missing Cobra meetings, the herd immunity, the
IT combo pole dancing sessions. I'm not sure, but we're getting into political territory here.
We are.
I don't think there's a winner here. It's
no.
Oh, just one thing. Can you imagine he's achieved his life's ambition? I'm Prime Minister. Hello, I'm COVID. And he's thinking, oh, not what I planned.
And we haven't even started to get the Brexit effect yet. That won't kick in for a few months. Anyway.
My lips are still. Yeah, okay. I wanted to speak to you to cheer me up, not depress me. So.
Sorry, yes.
That's okay. Hey, Jacqui, we could go on for ages, but I know that we both got busy lives doing nothing. So it's no, but I really appreciate you giving the time to come and talk to us. And I just want these to be something that other people can see, that it's ordinary human beings get this, and we've got frustrations and fears and everything like everybody else.
But it doesn't have to rule your life.
No. The funny thing about this, I think about it so much more than I ever used to.
Yeah.
But not in a depressing way. Now it's who oh, she's rude on Twitter. I'll see if I can get her on.
Don't get me wrong, I have my days when I wallow during relapses.
A couple of weeks ago I felt pretty rough.
Yeah.
Just pissed off at God and his universe, I think is the technical term. Yeah.
But you have to pull yourself out of it. I'm really lucky. I have wonderful friends.
Yeah.
Because I've had to reduce my hours at work because of my fatigue, I can't afford to live on my own. And so without my mum, I would have been lost in every way. I was living with her at the time of diagnosis because I'd divorced, we'd sold the flat. Didn't intend on staying here, but I am, and I have done. And the guilt I feel can really get me down. I put this on my mum at her age. None of us planned on this, obviously, but
yeah, I think you're not alone in that.
No.
I previously had very well remunerated jobs, but the kind of guilt. I was married before, and it was definitely one of the things of thinking I'm not pulling my share, and then feeling that other people are looking at me thinking, that I'm not doing the heavy lifting, should we say, that I used to do, and more on my, my then wife. But yeah, the whole thing is just and I just didn't even think about it for years. I refused, should we say, to take the thoughts to their logical conclusion because it was too upsetting. And also think, but you're so lucky,
I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
I am so lucky. I never forget how lucky I am.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful support network. My friends are incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And mine will also tell me, pull your socks up. They know me well.
Oh yeah.
I'll go, I'm feeling a bit crap, and they'll go, yeah, mate, you need to sort yourself out because we don't want to hear about it too much. Yeah. But it's said with love, it's not
absolutely.
Yeah.
The people you trust the most and you love the most can give you that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll take it. You'll know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need it. You need some of this. Or my brother would just say, it's what's this? Dry your eyes, princess. But anyway, let's end this on a happy note. Tell me the possibly your favorite ever line from Bake Off. If you had to have one on your headstone.
Oh my goodness.
I want to end this on a happy and slightly rude note.
Slightly smutty.
Yeah, smutty. Good word, yeah.
There was lots of talk of fingering sponges last night to see how wet they were.
Right, okay. On that happy note, Jacqui, fingering sponges. On that happy note about fingering damp sponges, let's wind this up, and we'll get you back on, because I suspect this is going to become quite a popular video.
Oh, I hope so.
Hey,
I'm not a religious person at all, Dom, but I've had a Twitter break for Lent, and I'm desperate to get back on it. I have to say, actually, I have to thank you, because you are one of the first people I followed on Twitter with MS, and you got in touch with me quite quickly, offering any help or advice about medication and
you know what my friends tell me I do?
Living life in general. And I wanted to thank you for that.
Jacqui.
Sorry?
My friends accuse me of stalking.
No, I've had a few of those on Twitter. You are not one of those.
Oh, that's good to know. No inappropriate pictures or anything. Yeah. I'm loving it that you're actually clarifying this. So
absolutely, it's on record.
Okay.
But people like yourself, people like Mark Webb, can just be quite inspirational and helpful. And I've got more information out of Twitter, I think, than anything. Help-wise.
It's on my top list. It's open. It's in the sunshine. Sunshine's a disinfectant. You can't get people spinning rubbish on Twitter, because they'll be just jumped on.
Yeah.
You know, and whereas that will happen in private Facebook groups, private WhatsApp groups, whatever. But Twitter, it's out there. So yeah, if you're talking rubbish, you'll be taken down.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, by the community.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's through Twitter that I found shift.ms, who I am a volunteer for in the Buddy network.
Likewise, yeah. Well, that's another way. I was like, you're Jacqui from the internet.
Yeah, you're Twitter Dom, aren't you?
Well, I'm DJS KBO. You know what KBO stands for?
Yes.
Yes, that keep buggering on for any. It's a Churchillian thing. Yeah, keep buggering on. Put one foot in front of the other. Your body will follow. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, Jacqui, have a lovely day. It's quite sunny outside.
The sun is out. Let's get our vitamin D.
Indeed. All right. Look after yourself.
You too. Take care. Thank you.